If you give me just a few minutes of your time, I'm going to explain to you how Apple plans to use the newly announced M1 iPads to destroy the entire tablet market and even disrupt the laptop market. Let's begin. A lot of people seem to think that Apple is planning to make the iPad into Apple's version of Microsoft Surface devices, where you can use the tablet and full desktop version of the operating system. While this would be cool, I don't think it's going to happen in my opinion. Why? It's simple. Apple does not want two of its best-selling products competing with each other. We can even see this referenced by Greg Joswiak, who is Apple's Senior Vice President of Worldwide Marketing. He said that Apple has no plans to merge the two operating systems. This is polite marketing speak for we like money too much. Let's examine this further. Unless you've been living under a rock, you would know that Apple's new M1 chip has been making waves across the entire personal computing sector. It's a powerful chip, but the iPad has had a fairly powerful chip as well for the last few years now. The 2020 iPad Pro featured the A12Z Bionic chip with Neural Engine, not quite as powerful as the M1, but pretty close. Fast forward to 2021 and the new iPad now features the M1 chip, putting its performance on par with the wildly successful and powerful M1 Max. Theoretically, the iPad and M1 Max should have roughly the same processing power, so it makes sense to offer a desktop version, or at least a heavily modified desktop version of the macOS operating system on the iPad. Right? Wrong. Firstly, it would be very difficult to implement. Desktop operating systems like macOS are very difficult to make touch-friendly, especially on the 11-inch iPad. If you've ever used Windows 10 on a Microsoft Surface tablet, you would know how exceedingly difficult it is to tap on a file, for example, and rename it without a keyboard and mouse. And needing a keyboard and mouse to do something basic like this defeats the purpose of a tablet. Secondly, like I briefly mentioned before, Apple doesn't want products to compete with each other. If you could get the functionality of both a tablet and laptop in an iPad, why would you want to buy a MacBook that only does one of those things? This is basic business practice, and like every other business, Apple wants to maximize their profit margins. They want consumers to buy an iPad and a MacBook. So this begs the question, how is Apple going to do that? What's their secret plan? It's simple. Make the iPad not only a super powerful creative and content consumption device all on its own, but also make it an extension of macOS, not a replacement. We've already seen this start to happen with the implementation of Sidecar in 2019. Your iPad instantly turns into a second monitor for your Mac. We've also had handoff features for years now, which in a nutshell allows you to seamlessly switch between devices whether you're writing an email or browsing the web. In my opinion, what we'll start to see roll out in the next few months is features like Sidecar and handoff on steroids. For example, potentially being able to stream programs from your desktop Mac to your iPad and use them with a touch interface, or potentially have inter-app handoff where third-party apps may be supported. Imagine being able to instantly hand off an Excel spreadsheet or Premiere Pro timeline to your iPad whenever you leave your desktop. Of course, these programs will need to be optimized for this, and that brings up another point. Programs such as DaVinci Resolve may find themselves developing super powerful iPad-specific apps. You'll get most of the full functionality as you would on a desktop, but with a touch-friendly skin. I'd also bet that the Sidecar feature will be completely overhauled and pimped out, allowing you to use the iPad as a touch interface for almost any supported program. Think color correction in an editing program and being able to set hotkeys and rotating dials on your iPad in Sidecar mode. Basically a fully customizable and touch version of the Elgato Stream Deck. Of course, all of this is likely just scratching the surface, and there's no guarantee what direction Apple will actually take, but it certainly won't be turning the iPad into a fully fledged MacBook replacement. Think of the iPad and the MacBook like a knife and fork. You can use one on its own and it works perfectly fine, but they're designed to be most powerful when used together. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and hopefully you enjoyed hearing my opinion. Any comments or questions, please leave them down below, but apart from that, I'll catch you in the next one.